going to go into the future, where it's Sunday in Malaysia. Welcome back, Samad.
Hello everyone. Good morning here. It's Sunday morning, 9:45 a.m. from the future. The future is bright, sun's shining up, and really happy to be back for QuaranPalooza. Little spookiness today. Today I'm going to do some slightly different things. I'll be playing some of my original music, some songs that I've been learning, and also I'll be reading some poetry inspired by music that I've been writing as well in between some of these. But yeah, just to start off, this is a piece that I wrote inspired by a poem my dad wrote about poetry, about being a poet. It's called Penyair. And it's just 2 lines. It just goes, kepada setiap penyair gundah, daun gugur pun sentiasa indah, which means to every poet, even the falling leaf is beautiful.
Yeah, you're a little quiet, Alice.
Okay, let me just check the audio real quick. Ian said the audio is softer a little bit. Let me just check my input is softer. Okay, it is softer than usual. Let me put my input level higher a bit. Let's see. Ian, is this better? There's a little buzz. Okay, if there's a buzz, if I took this out, is it okay now?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, good. Okay, it's just it's just grounding from the laptop being plugged in. Okay. Okay. Long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I wrote. I was inspired by another of my dad's poems. It's kind of crazy because this song is probably like 24 years old now. So I remember playing. This was one of the earliest songs that I used to gig with. I used to play this all the time for shows. It's called Latas Tinggal. Thank you. Let me just check my tuning real quick. So recently I was in the United States. I went on a 5-week trip with my girlfriend Yin. It was her idea. She's the mastermind of figuring out or making it happen, really. And one part of the trip, we went to Big Indian, upstate New York, and for a guitar camp that I got a scholarship for. It's a geeky jazz guitar camp. It's called the Alternative Guitar Summit. And at the camp, a lot of people studied with this one. I mean, previously studied at some point with a legendary guitar teacher by the name of Mick Goodrick, who used to perform with vibraphonist Gary Burton. And this particular song that I'm playing next is actually more of a classical piece. It's called Liebeslied by Kurt Weill. It's a love song, really, and it's one of those songs that, you sometimes say, oh, I really should learn that song. This is one that I said I really should learn that song like 20 years ago, so I finally learned it, or I'm learning it at least, and I love it because it's like, just from a geeky harmony side, it's weird because it's from E minor and then it goes to like B minor and then it goes to E flat minor. It's just the keys are a bit weird, but it's very beautiful. So this is Liebeslied, in dedication to Mick Goodrick. So that was. Thanks. Yeah, Liebeslied. Really classical piece. If you go on YouTube, it's so hard to find jazz recordings of it. The classical recordings tend to be like chamber or orchestra stuff. It's very, very, that kind of like operatic kind of thing. Next, I want to read a little poem that I wrote. Earlier this year, I started a little project because my dad's a writer, my dad's a poet. He's a Malaysian National Laureate, and I started getting back into poetry recently as a form of kind of therapy, basically dealing with the annoyances of daily life and in general, and just just different things you go through life, and I find that it was kind of therapeutic getting it down in written form in word, because I usually write instrumental music. You can't complain that much verbosely and with instrumental music. You can have a lot of notes, but probably not saying exactly what you mean in terms of words. But this one's not really a complaint. This one's like kind of having fun with jazz, because I identify as a jazz musician. I'm going to read the Malay version, and then I'll translate it so you guys can understand what I'm talking about. This one's just called Jazz. Jazz. Orang main chord lain, kita main chord lain dengan sengaja. Jazz. Basis in time, kita out of time dengan sengaja. Jazz. Gitaris makin seronok main banyak note, drama ketuk time lain, basis main notes tinggi tak macam bass lagi. Jazz. Lagu waltz jadi 4/4, lagu 4/4 jadi waltz, lagu 3 chord jadi sejuta. Jazz. Lagu sejuta chord jadi 1 chord. Jazz. Lagu ni rupanya orang main lagu, belajar tinggi-tinggi, main banyak note, salah dengan sengaja. Jazz. So what that means is jazz. People play a different chord, we play a different chord intentionally. Jazz. Basis in time, we're out of time intentionally. Jazz. The guitarist is getting excited playing a lot of notes. The drummer is hitting a different time. The bassist is playing really high notes, not sounding like a bass anymore. Jazz. A waltz song becomes 4/4. A 4/4 song becomes a waltz. A 3-chord song becomes a million. Jazz. A song with a million chords becomes 1 chord. Jazz. This is apparently how people play songs when they go study at a high level, go to college and stuff. They learn to play a lot of wrong notes intentionally. Jazz. Yeah, so that's that. It's partly comedy, partly it's funny. It can be funny because it's actually real. That's how it is. And now for something completely not jazz. When I started playing guitar, I really liked the Beatles a lot, especially. And this is one of the songs that I recently played at the Royal Selangor Jazz. Well, not recently. It's been a few months. Royal Selangor Jazz Festival. And it's called "And I Love Her." Thank you. Thank you. That was I'll Be Seeing You, a really, really old tune that I really like. I'm going to do two things just to wrap up the set. So one of the places we went, Yin and I went when we were in the US, we went to Portland because Portland's like, it's one of those places that I really wanted to go. I heard a lot about it and we had friends there. And we went to the Rose Garden, which is really, really beautiful. And I wrote this on the morning that we went to I wrote this before we went to the Rose Garden. So this piece is a little bit romantic. It's dedicated to Yin. After I'll play this, I'll play another little piece dedicated to Yin as well. So it's kind of just to wrap up the set. This is called Seakan Polaroid. Ramai kawan tak sempat jumpa, dapat message dan komen di medsos. Terasa rindu, terasa dekat. Terasa sayu, terasa rapat. Tapi begitulah dengan masa yang sempat. Kini di bandar Elliot Smith. Rasa macam kenal tapi baru bertemu. Cuba cari tempat disebut dalam lagu atau tempat yang raikan dia. Melawat semacam snapshot gambar, tengok dunia seakan Polaroid. Satu saat, satu pengalaman, rakam dalam melodi dan gambar. Tapi semua sudah satu dan kosong. Tapi bukan digital kalau berkawan dan bukan semata-mata analog kalau berlawan. Pagi ini mungkin aku ke Taman Rose. Kata mereka ada lebih 10,000 ada di situ. Tapi mungkin hari ini kita akan di sana. Dan dalam pegangan tangan, satu saat dalam 2.5 bilion. Seakan Polaroid, cinta di Taman Washington. Like a Polaroid. There's a lot of friends we couldn't meet. We got messages and comments on social media. Missing them, feeling close, feeling kind of sad, feeling kind of intimate. But that's what we have with the time that we have. I'm now in the city of Elliot Smith. Feels familiar, but I just met you. Trying to find places that he mentions in songs or places that celebrate him. Visiting is like taking a snapshot of a picture, looking at the world like a Polaroid. 1 second, one experience, documented in melody and pictures. But everything's already one and zeros. But it's not digital if we're friends, and it's not analog if we're enemies. This morning I might go to the rose garden. They said there are 10,000 kinds there. But maybe today when we're there, while we're holding hands, 1 second in 2.5 billion, it's like a Polaroid of love in Washington Park. Okay, gonna wrap it up. This one's called Across the Skies. Thank you. If you like my stuff, you can, well, a few things. Let me just put the, of course, buy tickets. If you're watching this on Facebook, buy tickets to the thing to support the Bay Area Cancer Connection. And if anyone wants to tip, my performance is just I put the link there, paypal.me/azsamatmusic. And I'm going to wrap up with a song I wrote for Ian called Across the Skies. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the performance. I'm Az Samad from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. See you guys. Thanks, John. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Great set. Alright, next up we're going to head over to San Francisco. Welcome back, Mark Newstetter.
Hi. Well, that was fantastic. That was beautiful. Amazing.